Hey Sagittarius, welcome back to my YouTube channel. These are going to be your messages for the month of July 2019. Thank you guys so much for being here and for joining me once again. So I went ahead and changed the angle of the camera and I laid out the first layer of your spread just to save on some time. Let me know if you guys like it this way or if you would prefer it a different way. But let's go ahead and get started. So looking at your first layer here, there are a few cards that are kind of telling me a bit of a story. First thing that I noticed was the Five of Pentacles here. And I feel like some of you may have lost a job recently, or at least within the past few months or so. Five of Pentacles is kind of like having an anxiety about money, about resources, being sort of locked out or left out in the cold. So you may have been let go from a job, but I feel like it wasn't, for some of you, it wasn't your fault. Like it may have been because of the Moon card, Judgment card, and the Seven of Cups here. I feel like these two are very much telling me that there was definitely some sneakiness going on. So you may have been let go because the business or the company didn't have any money, or they were mishandling money, and ultimately the company or the business just went bankrupt or something. But with the Seven of Cups here, I feel like there was very much a sort of picture or image that they were painting for people, their employees. That maybe the business was doing fine or the company was doing fine and everything was great, when really with the Moon card, that wasn't really the case. And maybe they tried to fix it and they tried to get ahead of the curve and make things okay, but ultimately with the Judgment card, it just was way out of their hands. It was way over their heads, and they were just like, you know what, we have to close up shop, we have to let people go, or we have to downsize, or the company may have closed indefinitely. And that's what kind of led you to this Five of Pentacles and Ten of Swords energy, where you were suddenly being faced with unemployment unexpectedly, and really was just very sort of defeated by it because you weren't expecting it. You didn't necessarily have a game plan. So that's sort of the first message that I saw right off of the bat. However, the next word that came to me when I was looking at your first layer was the word redemption. So very much with the Knight of Cups here and the Page of Swords, to me, there's an energy in these two cards of picking yourself up and dusting yourself off after a period of trial and tribulation, after many obstacles, after difficulty, especially with the Page of Swords here. She's holding this giant sword. She's this little itty bitty woman, and she's holding this gigantic sword and looks quite confident as she's holding it. And I feel like that's the energy, Sagittarius, that a lot of you guys are embodying after this situation. You guys are just kind of like, you know what, like, I was really defeated about this for a while, and I didn't have a plan, and I just felt very just kind of at a low point, but c'est la vie, like you dusted yourself off, and you are using it as a point of courage, as a means of giving you strength, and you're deciding to push on. With the Knight of Cups here, you definitely are feeling more. Some of you, I feel, you're not, like, you may not be 100%. You may not feel entirely secure or entirely yourself again, but you do feel stronger emotionally. You feel like you are in a better position now to kind of overcome this on a mental and emotional level, because Knight of Cups is sitting over your Ten of Swords here. So you definitely have more discernment, because the Knight of Cups is in between the Seven of Cups and the Ten of Swords. So you have more discernment, and you're definitely more aware of those red flags with your employers and with your places of work now, and you're definitely looking for more security. You want to know that if you're going to be working for a business or a company, that they are solid and secure, and that you're not going to have to be dealing with this again. I feel like the trauma of being lied to by your employer as they were kind of trying to, you know, save face really was just like, okay, like I need to kind of have my own protections in place, because, you know, my employer may not be able to protect me. They may let me go, and, you know, that's not cool. So I kind of have to watch my own back. And so you're definitely more discerning, but you've overcome this Ten of Swords. As I said, you're not feeling as heavy. I feel like every day for you, Sag, the situation or the feelings about the situation may be getting easier to manage. In any case, you do have some pretty good energies headed your way. You have Three of Pentacles and the Page of Pentacles. So some of you may have already moved on. You may have, you know, dusted yourself off, and now you're kind of in this Page of Pentacles energy where you're waiting to hear news about another job that you've applied to, or maybe this situation happened because there was something better on the other side. And so you went through this Five of Pentacles energy where you were kind of let go, or you were fired or terminated or resigned or whatever. You went through this Ten of Swords energy where you were feeling a little defeated, a little just overwhelmed. But it was all for a greater, more significant reason, because now you're looking at the Page of Pentacles here, where abundance is quite literally within your grasp. And I like in the card that he's looking back at the Ten of Swords and the Five of Pentacles. So you're definitely, again, using this circumstance, using this kind of traumatizing situation as a focal point of strength. So Three of Pentacles here, you guys definitely have the know-how, you have the strength, you have the knowledge, you have the skill, and you've been getting yourself seen, or at least trying to get yourself seen to the right people. Three of Pentacles is very much a sort of networking card. You know, you may have been in some sort of education program or some sort of apprenticeship or something, and now you are at a final point where it's kind of do or die, or, you know, it either is gonna be more long-term or not. However, I feel like for a lot of you guys, the outcome is going to be positive. So I hope that first layer made sense for you guys. I'm going to go ahead and pull your second layer and see what else is out there for you. Additional messages for Sagittarius. What else does Sag need to know for the month of July? Okay, so looking at your second layer, Sag, you have the Two of Pentacles at the center, the High Priestess, the Two of Swords, the Nine of Swords, the Ten of Wands, the Nine of Cups, the Ace of Wands, the Knight of Wands, and Three of Cups. Okay, so Two of Pentacles at the center. On either side of it, you have the Ten of Wands and the Nine of Cups. So whatever this new opportunity is with the Page of Pentacles here and the Ace of Wands on top of it, by the way, which is a really good sign, it tells me that, for one, there is going to be a lot more of an emotional abundance connected to whatever this opportunity is. It's going to feel more in emotional alignment. It's going to allow you to tap into your creativity, tap into your passion, or into your more of what you get fulfillment out of. However, it is going to require some elbow grease, and it is going to require a sort of balance on your end. So be careful, Sag, that with this new opportunity, you're not doing too much, or trying to overprove yourself. Like I said in the first layer with the Three of Pentacles that you have the skill, you have the know-how, you have the capability. So just trust that. Don't feel like you have to overcompensate and put too much on your plate, because it may kind of work against you to where you are unable to balance and juggle these things or juggle life. So make sure that, you know, you're keeping the scales balanced, and that you're keeping everything sort of balanced. You're not putting too much on yourself. Three of Cups here, there definitely is a cause for celebration in the month of July. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys congrats because obviously, you know, you have some good things coming your way. Looking at the rest of your cards here, you have the High Priestess, the Two of Swords, and the Nine of Swords at the top of your spread. So there's definitely a decision that you need to make. There's definitely a crossroad that I see you approaching in the month of July. And as I'm saying this, the words that are coming to me, or the image that's coming to me, is either staying stuck in a sense, or kind of stepping into another channel of energy. So what do I mean when I say that? Basically, not to say that you guys want to stay stuck, but some of you may have like a fear complex, like a fear of success, or maybe you are still kind of working through those heavier energies that I mentioned in the first layer, where you haven't quite gotten over the situation. You don't feel trusting yet. You don't feel, maybe you are doubting your skills, you are doubting your capability, which is bringing you down with the Nine of Swords. So some of you may still be in that heavier energy where you haven't quite figured it out for yourself on an emotional level. You haven't quite gotten yourself over that hump. And so what you're facing in the month of July is to either stay in that kind of stuckness, or to just trust the process. The High Priestess is a very trusting energy. She is someone who is very similar to the Magician. She doesn't need to have all of the variables and all of the answers right there in front of her right then and there. She has an inner knowing that she is able to tap into and access at any time, and it fuels her going forward even if she can't fully see everything right then and there. So I think it's funny that these two kind of polar opposite energies are on either side of the Two of Swords, because with the Nine of Swords isn't, it's a heavy mental energy. It's having anxiety, it's having that doubt, it's having that feeling like you can't trust, you know, having that stuckness. Whereas the High Priestess is the opposite. So some of you guys may still be getting over this hurdle, and that is the decision that you're going to have to make in the month of July, especially with eclipse season. And there's like a ton of planets retrograde right now. There's like 5, maybe even more. So, you know, the energy is going to be heavy, and the solar eclipse is hitting us in the sign of Cancer. So you may have some things kind of bubbling up. You may have some subconscious things or some trauma about, you know, what I mentioned in the previous layer, or maybe some other things that come up and kind of manifest themselves in the Nine of Swords way. And so what you're going to be asking yourself in the month of July is, do I stay there, or do I just keep moving forward and trust? Just giving a quick look over to see if there's anything else. Knight of Wands here at the bottom of your spread. I see a lot of you guys continuing forward, just doing the work, doing what you have to do. I see a lot of you guys maintaining that balance and just pushing through and coming out on the other side of eclipse season, coming out on the other side of this Nine of Swords energy and all of these retrogrades and heavy energy, coming out triumphant and really feeling lighter, feeling more in control, feeling more powerful, and you know, High Priestess energy, where you're feeling like, you know, you have more of a say of what goes on in your life. You have more, you're co-creating with the universe rather than just kind of taking things as they come at you, you know. So I hope that makes sense, and I think that's all I see for you this month, Sag. So I'm gonna stop the video here. I hope you guys got something out of this, and you guys have some homework, and you're not the only ones, trust me. Everybody has some homework. It's eclipse season, so it's kind of inevitable. But I hope you guys got something out of this. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to leave your likes, shares, comments, subscriptions, all of that, and I will see you guys in my next one. Take care.